My wife served me divorce papers on my birthday. Her entire family celebrated. So I played dumb, signed everything with a smile, and quietly canceled one small payment. Within 48 hours, her mother's house was in foreclosure, her brother lost his car, her sister's business collapsed, and my wife was begging outside my door. The whole town watched her family's empire crumble. And when they discovered who'd been funding their lifestyle for 8 years, the whispers turned to roars. Hey everyone, I'm Marcus Webb, I'm 36 years old, and I'm about to tell you the most calculated, devastating, and absolutely satisfying story of strategic revenge you've ever heard. This isn't just about a divorce. This is about an entire family's house of cards collapsing because they forgot one critical rule: don't bite the hand that feeds you. Before we dive in, I want to be clear about something. I'm not proud of being vindictive. But I'm also not ashamed of teaching people that actions have consequences. So let's get into it. 8 years ago, I married my wife, Jessica. She was beautiful, charming, and came from what appeared to be a successful family. Her mother, Linda, owned a large house in the nicest part of town. Her older brother, Derek, drove luxury cars and always wore expensive watches. Her younger sister, Amanda, ran a boutique that all the wealthy women in town frequented. They looked successful. They acted successful. Everyone in our small town believed they were successful. But here's what I discovered 3 months into our marriage: it was all smoke and mirrors. Linda's house? Mortgaged to the absolute limit, constantly on the verge of foreclosure. Derek's luxury cars? Leased, and he was always behind on payments. Amanda's boutique? Hemorrhaging money every single month, staying open purely through emergency cash injections. And who was providing those cash injections? Me. See, I'm a software engineer. I work remotely for a major tech company, and I make very good money. Around $250,000 a year, plus stock options and bonuses. In our small town in North Carolina, that kind of income makes you wealthy. When Jessica and I got married, I thought I was joining a family of equals. Successful people who had their lives together. Instead, I discovered I'd married into a family of grifters who were desperately maintaining an illusion. The first loan request came from Linda. Marcus, honey, I'm just a bit short on the mortgage this month. Could you help out? I'll pay you back next week. She never paid me back. Next week came another request. Then another. Then Derek needed help with a car payment. Just this once, man. I've got a big deal closing next month. There was never a big deal. There was always another crisis. Amanda's boutique was just about to turn profitable for 3 straight years. Every month, she needed $5,000 to make payroll, cover rent, restock inventory. And Jessica? She encouraged it. Their family, Marcus. We help family. So I helped. And helped. And helped. After the first year, I started keeping detailed records. Every loan, every payment, every expense. I'm a detail-oriented person, it's what makes me good at my job. I created a spreadsheet tracking every single dollar. In 8 years of marriage, here's what I paid for. Linda's mortgage, $187,000. Linda's property taxes, $64,000. Linda's car payments, $31,000. Derek's car leases, $93,000. Derek's credit card debts, $41,000. Derek's business investments, $67,000. Amanda's boutique operating costs, $312,000. Amanda's personal expenses, $78,000. Various emergencies, $94,000. Total, $967,000. Nearly $1 million in 8 years. And none of it was ever paid back. Not one single dollar. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me tell you how this all fell apart. 6 months ago, I started noticing changes in Jessica. She was distant, always on her phone, going out more often. Classic signs, right? I'm not an idiot. I knew something was wrong. Then, 3 months ago, I found out what. She was having an affair with her personal trainer, Chad. Of course it was a guy named Chad. The universe has a sense of humor. I discovered it by accident. She left her laptop open, and I saw the messages. Explicit messages. Plans to leave me. Discussions about how much money she'd get in the divorce. Here's a direct quote from one of her messages to Chad. Once I divorce Marcus, I'll take half of everything. The house, his stocks, his retirement accounts. We'll be set for life. And my family will finally be free from having to pretend to like him. That last part hurt more than the affair, honestly. 8 years of pretending. I could have confronted her immediately. But I'm a software engineer. I solve problems methodically. So I started planning. I consulted with the best divorce attorney in the state, not locally, because word travels in small towns. I documented everything. The affair, the messages, the financial records of supporting her family. I also did something else. I started structuring my finances very carefully. I made sure certain assets were clearly mine, purchased before marriage, kept in separate accounts, never commingled. I moved money into protected accounts. I got my ducks in a row. Then I waited. 3 weeks ago, on my 36th birthday, Jessica served me with divorce papers. She did it at a family dinner at Linda's house, the house I'd been paying the mortgage on for 8 years. The whole family was there. They all knew it was coming. Jessica handed me the papers with a smile. Marcus, I think we both know this marriage is over. I need someone who can keep up with me, someone exciting. You're just boring. The family nodded along. Linda actually said, "It's for the best, dear." Derek smirked. "No hard feelings, bro." Amanda was recording it on her phone for some reason. Probably thought it would make great content for her boutique's Instagram. I looked at the papers. Looked at Jessica. Looked at her family sitting there, so smug, so confident. And I smiled. You know what? You're absolutely right. Let's do this. Jessica looked surprised. Really? You're not going to fight it? Why would I? If you're unhappy, you should be free. I just want you to be happy, Jess. She actually looked relieved. Thank you for being mature about this. Of course. I'll have my lawyer look at these and get back to you. In the meantime, I should probably start separating our finances, right? Make the divorce easier? That sounds perfect, she said. That night, I went home to the house that was in my name only, purchased before our marriage with my own money. And I started making phone calls. First call, Linda's mortgage company. Hi, I've been making payments on account number XXXXX for Linda Patterson. I need to remove my authorization for future payments. Second call, Derek's car lease company. I need to cancel my guarantor status on these 3 leases. Third call, Amanda's boutique landlord. I've been personally guaranteeing her lease. I'm withdrawing my guarantee effective immediately. Fourth call, every credit card company, utility company, and service provider where I was listed as a payer or guarantor for any member of Jessica's family. One by one, I methodically cut every financial lifeline I'd been providing for 8 years. But here's the key, I didn't tell anyone I was doing it. I just stopped paying. Quietly. Completely. The next day, I signed the divorce papers. I was cooperative, pleasant, agreeable. My lawyer had already prepared our response, with detailed documentation of the affair, which in North Carolina is still relevant for alimony considerations. Jessica thought she was getting half of everything. What she didn't know was that everything was much less than she thought. The house was mine. My retirement account started before marriage. My stock options were structured as separate property. After proper accounting, she was entitled to about $127,000, not the million she'd been planning on. But I'm getting ahead of myself again. Let me tell you about the 48 hours after I cut off the money. Day 1, morning, Linda called Jessica, panicking. Her mortgage payment had bounced. The bank was threatening foreclosure proceedings, she was already 3 months behind, and my payments had been the only thing keeping them at bay. Day 1, afternoon, Derek's car got repossessed from the country club parking lot. All 3 of his leases had been terminated for non-payment. Apparently, he hadn't made an actual payment himself in over a year. Day 1, evening, Amanda's boutique landlord called. Without my guarantee, and with 3 months of missed rent that I'd been covering, she had 48 hours to vacate the premises. Day 2, morning, the utilities at Linda's house were shut off. I've been paying those too. Day 2, afternoon, Amanda's boutique was locked out by the landlord. All her inventory was seized for unpaid rent. Day 2, evening, Derek's credit cards were all declined at dinner. Every single one maxed out and now without my backup. Throughout all of this, Jessica kept calling me. Marcus, there's some kind of mistake. My mom's mortgage payment didn't go through. Can you help? That's weird, I'd say. Maybe it's a bank error? Derek's cars got repossessed. Really? That's crazy. Maybe he forgot to make the payments? Amanda's boutique got shut down. Oh no. That's terrible. Maybe she should talk to her accountant? I played dumb perfectly. Concerned but confused. Sympathetic but unhelpful. On day 3, Jessica showed up at my house. Our house. Well, my house. She was crying. Makeup running. Designer purse, that I bought her, clutched in her hands. Marcus, please. I don't understand what's happening. My whole family is falling apart. The bank is foreclosing on my mom's house. Derek lost all his cars. Amanda lost her business. It's all happening at once, and I don't know why. I looked at her calmly. That sounds really stressful, Jess. Have they tried calling their bank? It's not a bank error. The payments just stopped. All of them. At the same time. Weird coincidence, I said. She stared at me. I saw the moment it clicked. The moment she realized. Marcus. Were you paying for all of that? I didn't answer. Just looked at her. Oh my God. You were. This whole time. You've been paying for everything. I don't know what you're talking about, I said pleasantly. Don't play dumb. You stopped the payments. You did this on purpose. Jessica, you served me with divorce papers. You said we need to separate our finances. I'm just doing what you asked. Separating our finances. But my family, your family isn't my responsibility anymore. You made that clear when you handed me divorce papers on my birthday. She fell to her knees. Actually fell to her knees on my doorstep. Please, Marcus. We can work this out. We don't have to get divorced. I made a mistake. With Chad? Her face went white. You knew? I've known for 3 months. I have all the messages, by the way. Very explicit. My lawyer was fascinated. Marcus, please. The answer is no, Jessica. You wanted this divorce. You're getting it. And your family is going to learn what happens when you take someone for granted for 8 years. She tried to push past me into the house. I stopped her. This is my house, Jessica. You don't live here anymore. You moved out, remember? You're staying with Chad now. Chad broke up with me. She wailed. When he found out I wasn't getting millions in the divorce, he dumped me. I almost felt bad for her. Almost. That's unfortunate. But it's not my problem anymore. I closed the door. She pounded on it for 20 minutes before finally leaving. But the real entertainment was just beginning. See, in a small town, news travels fast. And the news that Jessica's successful family was actually broke and had been funded entirely by the boring husband they'd just humiliated spread like wildfire. The foreclosure notice on Linda's house became public record. People driving by saw it posted on the door. The same door of the house where she'd hosted countless parties, always bragging about her success. Derek's repossession became town legend. He'd been so loud about his luxury cars, his success, his deals. Now everyone knew he'd never actually paid for any of it. Amanda's boutique closure was the biggest spectacle. She positioned herself as this successful businesswoman, but the eviction revealed she'd been insolvent for years. Her loyal customers discovered she'd been buying cheap wholesale items and marking them up 400%. They felt scammed. And Jessica? Jessica became the woman who divorced her meal ticket on his birthday, tried to take him for everything, and ended up with nothing while her entire family's facade crumbled. The town Facebook groups were vicious. Screenshots of Amanda's lifestyle posts next to photos of her locked boutique. Stories about Derek's repossession. Speculation about how much money I'd actually been providing. Someone did the math based on public records and estimated I'd spent over $900,000 on Jessica's family. The number circulated. People were stunned. My phone was blowing up. Friends I hadn't heard from in years calling to ask if it was true. Colleagues asking if I was okay. My own family, who I'd kept in the dark about most of this, calling in shock. But the best call came from Linda. Marcus, please. We're going to lose the house. 48 hours until the bank takes it. Please, I'm begging you. I'll do anything. Linda, I seem to remember you saying at my birthday dinner that the divorce was for the best. Did I hear that correctly? Silence. You sat there while your daughter humiliated me. You endorsed it. You smiled. And now you want my help? I didn't know Jessica was going to divorce you. Yes, you did. You all knew. It was planned. I saw the group chat, Linda. You all discussed it. You even helped Jessica pick out the papers to serve me. More silence. Here's what's going to happen, I said calmly. You're going to lose the house. Derek's going to have to take the bus. Amanda's going to have to get a real job. And Jessica's going to learn what it's like to actually work for a living instead of spending someone else's money. And all of you are going to understand that I wasn't boring. I was reliable. I wasn't your bank. I was a person you used. Marcus, please. Goodbye, Linda. I hung up. Over the next month, I watched the dominoes fall from a comfortable distance. Linda's house went into foreclosure. She had to move into a small apartment. The nice furniture, most of which I'd paid for, was sold off to cover debts. Derek moved back in with Linda in her tiny apartment. His credit was destroyed. He had to get a job at a local car dealership, selling cars instead of pretending to own them. Amanda had to declare bankruptcy. Her boutique closed permanently. She moved 3 towns over to escape the gossip and got a job as an assistant manager at a chain retail store. And Jessica? Jessica had the hardest fall. She couldn't afford her lifestyle anymore. The apartment she'd rented with Chad, when he was still interested, was too expensive. She had to move into a studio. She had to sell her designer clothes, her bags, her jewelry. She tried to get a job but had no actual work experience. She'd been a lifestyle influencer for years, funded by me, pretending to live a life she never actually earned. The town stopped following her on social media. Her follower count dropped from 45,000 to 3,000 in a month. Brands dropped their sponsorships when they realized her lifestyle was fake. She tried to date, but in our small town, everyone knew the story. No one wanted to be the next meal ticket. 6 months after the divorce was finalized, I ran into her at the grocery store. She was working there as a cashier. She saw me, and I saw her face crumble. But I also saw something else. Maybe humility. Maybe reality finally setting in. "Hi, Marcus," she said quietly. "Hi, Jessica. You look good." "Thank you. You look tired." "I am tired." She scanned my groceries mechanically. "I work 2 jobs now. This and waitressing at night." I didn't respond. "I'm sorry," she said suddenly. "For everything. I didn't appreciate what I had. I didn't appreciate you." "You're right. You didn't." "Is there any chance?" "No," I said firmly. "There's no chance. You made your choice. You chose excitement over stability. Appearance over substance. Greed over gratitude. And now you're living with those consequences." She nodded, tears in her eyes. "I deserve this." "Yes," I said simply. "You do." I paid for my groceries, she gave me the change, and left. But here's where the story takes an interesting turn. About a month after that grocery store encounter, I got a message on LinkedIn. From Derek, of all people. "Marcus, I know you have no reason to hear me out. But I need to say something. Working at the dealership, living in my mom's apartment, taking the bus, it's been humiliating. But it's also been eye-opening. I've learned more about actual work, actual responsibility, actual consequences in 6 months than I did in my entire previous life. I'm not asking for money. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm just saying thank you. You taught me something I needed to learn. And I'm sorry for taking advantage of you." I stared at that message for a long time. Then Amanda sent one. "I got a job in retail and I'm actually good at it. I work harder than I ever did at my boutique because this time the money is real. My paycheck is mine. I earned it. I never understood that before. Thank you for forcing me to grow up." Linda didn't apologize. She's still bitter. Still thinks I'm the villain. Some people never learn. But Jessica? 3 months ago, she sent me a letter. A physical letter, handwritten. "Marcus, I don't expect you to read this, but I need to write it. You were the best thing that ever happened to me, and I destroyed it because I was shallow, greedy, and stupid. I thought you were boring, but you were just stable. I thought I deserved more, but I deserve less. I'm working 2 jobs. I'm living in a tiny apartment. I'm learning what it means to actually earn things. And I'm learning that the life we had, that you provided, was better than anything I could have imagined. I don't want you back. I know that's not possible. I just want you to know that I finally understand. You weren't the problem. I was. And I'm sorry." I kept the letter. Not because I forgave her. But because it was proof that sometimes, people do learn. Sometimes, consequences do teach. As for me, I'm doing great. I got promoted at work. I'm now making $310,000 a year. I bought a second property, an investment that's already appreciated 40%. I've been dating someone new, a woman who has her own career, her own money, her own independence. Someone who doesn't need me to fund her life, but chooses to share her life with me. I'm respected in town now. Not feared, not pitied, respected. People saw what happened and understood. I wasn't cruel. I was done being used. The divorce cost me about $127,000, Jessica's settlement. But I saved myself from a lifetime of funding people who saw me as an ATM. I saved nearly $1 million over the course of the marriage. And in cutting off Jessica's family, I freed myself from what would have been decades more of funding their illusions. Was I petty? Maybe. Was I vindictive? Probably. Do I regret it? Not even a little bit. Because here's the truth, generosity is a gift, not an obligation. Supporting people is a choice, not a requirement. And when people treat your kindness like it's owed to them, when they take advantage of your generosity and then discard you when it's convenient, they deserve to learn what life looks like without you. Jessica wanted excitement. She got it, just not the kind she expected. Her family wanted to maintain their illusions. The truth was more interesting. And me? I wanted respect. And I got it, by respecting myself enough to walk away. So here's my advice, if you're the provider in your relationships, make sure the people you're providing for actually value you. Not your money. Not your stability. You. Because the moment they serve you divorce papers while living in the house you paid for, driving the car you paid for, wearing the clothes you paid for, and thinking they're entitled to half of what you built, that's the moment you realize they never valued you at all. And that's the moment you teach them what they've lost. Thanks for watching, everyone. If this story resonated with you, hit that subscribe button. Drop a comment about a time you stopped being someone's safety net and watched them fall. Share this with anyone who needs to hear that generosity should be appreciated, not expected. Until next time, know your worth, protect your assets, and never let anyone mistake your kindness for weakness. This is Marcus Webb, signing off. The boring husband who taught an entire family that boring pays the bills.